After the death of Sarah Winchester in 1922, most of the furnishings in her home were sold privately at auction. The only item that remained was a large safe found in the grand ballroom. This would turn out to be a safe within a safe. The objects that were found inside of the safe might be the best-known clues as to Sarah Winchester's motivations for designing one of the world's most mysterious houses. Hello everyone, my name is Lisa and welcome to Lisa Explains It All, a true crime, mystery, and art history podcast. And welcome to episode 5, the Winchester Mystery House. And this is my first ever October episode, so I'm very excited. And my bavanda of the day is some Finger Lakes Coffee Roasters, not sponsored, cold brew coffee. And it's very good, and I encourage you to support your local businesses. So, alright, and now for the first segment of today's episode. I'm going to head on over to Reddit, where somebody asked the question, ever lived in a haunted house? What are your stories? So I'm going to read some of these answers and react to them now, unscripted. So here we go. Okay, first answer. My parents thought their house was haunted. They set up a motion capture camera in the hallway, kitchen, and living room for a few weeks. The only thing they were able to catch was our cat regularly pooping and urinating in the sink. God. Ew. Alright, I did not expect that. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, next. Gosh. Okay. I've got a story to tell. This isn't my house, but my cousin's, and I practically lived there anyway. I don't believe in ghosts at all, but my family does, vehemently. Okay. So when my cousin said he saw a strange man standing outside the gate, muttering odd things and leaving, the family was a little taken back. Who was this guy? Immediately, everyone thought that the house had been marked or cursed. Several strange occurrences were reported. One of the girls said that when she entered her bedroom, she saw a white woman dressed Victorian style sitting on her bed, crying. Doppelgangers of family members were seen. At night, more than a few people reported seeing a strange, furry figure, peering into the bedroom. It all reached a breaking point when my cousin suddenly broke out into a fit in the middle of the day. He had no history of epilepsy whatsoever. He was writhing on the floor, babbling incoherently about a bearded man standing in the corner of the room, glaring at him. The family then decided that they had enough of this and went to a local priest to cleanse the house. Things seemed to settle after. I personally never bought into it as a child. I really couldn't say much. Who knows what really happened anyway? I have tons of similar stories if you're interested. So, wow. That is creepy. Scary people staring at you when you're trying to sleep. Ugh. And the same person also wrote about an incident that happened at their school. And this part of the story is the grand finale. Someone got possessed. One of the boys went into a frenzy and had to be held down. He was speaking in a very strange dialect that was quite alien in the area, and strangest of all, in a woman's voice. His parents and an ambulance had to be called. Sometime later, we were all told that we could leave for the day. More rumor. After we left, the school got a priest or medicine man to, quote, cleanse the school. Okay, that is extremely creepy, and thank you. Next. My mom's convinced that the house I lived in until I was in kindergarten was haunted. Apparently, the previous owner was a nice old lady, and she died in the house before we bought it. She has a lot of stories about hearing doors creak, voices, and footsteps in the hallway before my sister and I were old enough to walk. Pretty standard ghost stuff. But the weirdest part she talked about is that sometimes in the middle of the night, when no one was in my room, my mobile would go off and my crib would be rocking when my mom walked in and I'd be dead asleep. Yikes. She thinks that when I was upset in the night, the ghost of the old lady would help calm me down in the night. TLDR, I had a ghost nanny. And then someone commented, "That's somewhat sweet." And you know what? I have to agree with that. That is sweet. Okay, 2 more stories. So, I do not believe in ghosts. Sure, I was entertained by the notion, but anyone who came out and stated that they believed in ghosts, I dismissed as new age, hippies, or whatever. Lols. And then I lived in a haunted house. It started out as little things. The bathroom door would open violently if anyone ever closed the latch. So often that we came to count on it. I asked my roommate if he ever noticed a red light in the spare bedroom, as I always did, when walking up the stairs in the dark. He did. I'd always go in the spare room to investigate, but could never find the source of the light. That's creepy. Wow. Mysterious red light. Wow. These things I could explain away. The weirder things started to happen. Then weirder things started to happen. One night, I was sitting in the living room with my girlfriend and my roommate when I noticed the shape of a woman's face, whoa, in the pane of glass of the window in the other room. We all witnessed this. Holy cow. Even then, I tried to explain it away as a trick of the light. What finally convinced me that something was happening was one time when I was brushing my teeth, something tugged instantly on my sleeve, and I'm 100% sure that I didn't catch it on anything. Have you ever been fishing? It was like a fish was nibbling on the line, except on my t-shirt sleeve. That freaked me out. Still stranger things happened. We'd hear footsteps upstairs while home alone. I often saw shadows out of the corner of my eye. One time I even saw a shadow while looking right at it, in the middle of the room, not up against a wall, for 5 minutes or so. Twice while heading up the stairs to my room for bed, I heard a woman's voice say "good night" to me over my shoulder. Yikes. The strangest thing that happened was New Year's Eve 3 years ago. My roommate and I were hosting a party and waiting for people to show up, sitting in the living room. Suddenly, I felt something brush against my arm, and the light bulb in the lamp I was sitting beside exploded. There were a few other things that happened, and some I'm forgetting. I'm sure, but the fact is, that too many strange things happened for it to be a coincidence. I have since moved out of the house. Good. But the belief remains something strange was happening there. And then someone commented, nope. So, you know what? Agreed. And then someone else wrote, good night, really? Trapped for what could be eternity in another dimension, and you can communicate with us, and you just want to mess with us instead of possibly enlightening us about death, assuming they were once human? He, she, or it could explain some of the most sought-after questions the world has, but instead it's more concerned about you getting a good 8 hours of sleep. And okay, last one. Pretty sure my grandmother's house is haunted. One time I was walking out of the bedroom, and as soon as I opened the door, a ghost-like hand reached for me. I jumped back and shut the door. Another incident at the same house. I was outside with my dog, and she took off running and barking towards the driveway. I saw someone/something walking down the private drive towards the house. I said, "Grandma, who is here?" The dog stopped in her tracks, stopped barking, and ran back to me. I couldn't see anyone there anymore. Grandma didn't see anyone to begin with. Lots of strange noises and mishaps, like broken dishes and missing things in that house too. I love, Grandma, who is here? Wow, thanks again, Reddit. And now back to this week's episode topic, the Winchester Mystery House. And all of the sources that I used for today's episode are in the show notes. Okay, so let's get into some 101 about the Winchester Mystery House. The Winchester Mystery House is a Victorian-style mansion located in San Jose, California. The home itself is a private residence, which spans 24,000 square feet. It was built with no master plan, and they made it up as they went along, so to speak. So, as of today, the home is complete with 160 rooms, 17 chimneys, 47 fireplaces, 2 basements, 3 elevators, and 10,000 panes of glass. Also, the house features many architectural oddities, such as doors that open to 12-foot drops outside, another door which opens up to the first floor kitchen sink below you, and Sarah Winchester is referred to as the mastermind behind these design plans. So, who was Sarah Winchester? During the time that the house was being built, she was the widow of the manufacturer of the Winchester repeating rifle. This was known as the gun that won the West. This rifle could kill more people faster than any previously invented gun. A unique and advantageous feature about the Winchester repeating rifle is that it could fire up to 15 rounds without being reloaded. Most guns at the time required you to reload after every shot. Sarah Winchester's husband passed away on March 7th of 1881, making her the heir of a huge fortune. Construction on the house began 3 years later and would take 38 years to complete in total. And they were basically making it up as they went along, and historians continue to find new features and rooms even until recently. So the big question is why? Why was the house designed this way? Was it just based on Sarah Winchester's whims? Was she an eccentric? Or are there other mysterious reasons to blame? Additions were continuously being built onto the house for 38 years. Shortly after her husband's death, Sarah Winchester was allegedly told by a psychic, quote, "The spirit rots in the house that doesn't grow, and the reason a person dies is because that person does not continue to build additions to the house in which she lives." End quote. So a major theory as to why Sarah Winchester designed the house the way that she did is that she was trying to make it so that the souls of the people who had died from being shot by the Winchester rifle could not find her. She essentially built a giant maze for them to get lost in. Sarah Winchester lost her husband, and then her weeks-old baby died of tuberculosis shortly thereafter. She was grief-stricken and wondering why this was happening to her. This led her to seek the counsel of a spiritualist, which was a common practice at the time. She was told that the karma from the Winchester rifle deaths was haunting her. The spiritualist told her to appease the angry spirits by building a house and to never stop building. The non-stop noise of hammers and saws would drive the bad spirits away. So this might explain the purposefully confusing house features, including stairs leading to the ceiling and a door leading outside. In total, Sarah Winchester spent $16 million in today's money on the construction of the house. And another theory involves numerology. The number 13 appears everywhere in the house. On light fixtures, mirrors, walls, flooring, and stairways. There are 13 bedrooms and 13 bathrooms. Several of the rooms have 13 wall panels. Okay, and now we're going to talk about Harry Houdini. In 1924, Harry Houdini visited the house for a seance, and this was documented in a newspaper. In an interview with the newspaper, Harry Houdini stated, quote, "Sarah Winchester has a vast wardrobe of variously colored robes, and she uses a different robe for each spirit," end quote, that she summons. And Houdini also stated, quote, "There is a seance room without corners, so that the spirits won't hurt themselves coming in and out." Houdini is also credited with giving the house its name, the Winchester Mystery House. And now for some more details about the symbolism that occurs throughout the property. The symbol of the sun is used repeatedly throughout the home and property. There is a sun symbol located on both of the front gates of the house. And here is where the William Shakespeare theories start to pop up. The sun symbols on the front gates each have 16 rays. Okay? Stay with me for a second. So 16 plus 16 equals the date of William Shakespeare's death. Now to the ballroom stained glass windows, which are the only windows in the house with text on them. So 2 of the windows have Shakespeare quotes on them, And one of them says, quote, "Wide unclasp the tables of their thoughts," end quote. And the second window has the Shakespeare quote, "These same thoughts people this little world," end quote. And according to historians, Sarah Winchester is the only person who knows why she chose those quotes. Sarah Winchester passed away on September 7th, 1922. After her death, all of the furnishings from her home were sold privately at auction, with the exception of one large safe left in the grand ballroom. This would turn out to be a safe within a safe within a safe. Found inside of the safe was a lock of hair from her daughter Annie, along with her husband's obituary. And that is the story of what we know about the Winchester Mystery House. So, thank you very much for listening, everybody. And please send me an email at lisaexplains@gmail.com letting me know what stories you would like me to cover next. Also, please feel free to email me any of your spooky listener stories. And now, because I am recording this in October, I am going to leave you with a quote from the man himself, Vincent Price. Quote, "A man who limits his interests limits his life." End quote. And also, Christine Mcconnell, which you probably already know, made a gigantic replica of the Winchester Mystery House made out of gingerbread. So if you haven't done so already, go check out her YouTube channel. And I will leave a link to her video in the show notes. Okay, thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.